Hi everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to our weekly budget with me video where we budget out our paycheck. It happens to be the third paycheck of May, which is the 20th. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're new to budgeting, then I hope you get something out of today's video. I'm going to share with you how I do our zero-based budget using my Excel template. Now you can budget using Excel, you can budget using just a piece of paper, or if you want to use any other type of app. So if you want to budget with me, go ahead and grab whatever it is that you like to use, and we're going to get to it. So like I mentioned, we do a zero-based budget. So I like to share the real household numbers with you because I am literally doing my budget right now, and I'm just taking you along with me. So if you're new to the zero-based budget, the idea is that we're going to take every dollar that we make and we're going to tell it where to go. Now I do have some comments from last week's video that we'll be sharing throughout today's video, so be sure to stick around if you had a question that you needed answered. So to start off with, you want to do the whole month ahead of time if you can, and if you want to use my template, it is for sale. The link's down below, but basically you start off on a yearly tab and you would plan out your month there, and then it would auto-populate to your monthly tab, and then you do every paycheck. So I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below. Do you get paid every week? Do you get paid every other week? Fridays, Thursdays? Leave a comment down below and I would love to hear from you guys. So the first thing is, like I mentioned, we're on the third paycheck. So my husband's paycheck was $1,200. I make this black because that tells me that was the official amount. He did not have any overtime this week. In the past, they basically are working 10-hour days, Monday through Friday, but now once a month they are doing where they have Friday off. So last week he didn't work Friday, so that's no overtime for this week. Now they did technically have 1 or 2 hours of overtime, so that should be adjusted. That's probably most likely going to happen on next week's paycheck, so stick around and we'll see what happens next week. For myself, I'm expecting to have $174 that I'm able to bring over from YouTube, but I do not get paid that until the 22nd. I do pay for my cell phone and my internet with my YouTube income, and then I put about 20% into savings for taxes and things that I might owe, and then whatever's left comes over, and we're just using this to try to pay extra on the debt. So this will happen most likely on Monday, so I'll adjust that. I'll have to come back on Monday and adjust that. Now we have a direct deposit, so everything goes into the bank automatically, and once I know where it's going, I transfer it depending on where it needs to go. So we're recently trying to do what's called the 60% solution. So 60% of our committed, basically 60% of our before tax income, we're trying to designate that to our monthly expenses, and then we have 4 other categories that we're trying to do 10% in. So that first category is your retirement. So again, we're trying for 10%. We're not gonna be able to do that because our committed expenses, basically our debt, is too high. So for the month of May, we are committed to $50 a week for my husband and $35 for myself. So I do make this blue now because this is money that will be invested. It's not spent and gone. Like I mentioned, I have this set up automatically. So I've already transferred the money within our bank account. So I put the $50 into my husband's savings for now because this is automatically going to transfer on the 1st of June. So it's going to sit there until then, and then I'll move it into the necessities account where that will come out of. Whereas my $35 is set up on a weekly basis. So that's in the bank, ready to come out on Monday. The next category that we're trying to do 10% in would be our long-term savings. So saving emergency fund, car replacement fund. This would be saving for college, saving for a wedding, a new baby, whatever it might be, something that's going to take longer and you need more money for, a down payment for a house maybe. So as of right now, we're not adding anything to this. Like I mentioned, we're just focusing on paying off some debt. So this would also help. This section would also be where you would use that money to pay off debt. So again, whatever I bring over the 174 will be going towards that. So on Monday, I will manually make this payment onto the debt payment onto that company. So we have our monthly payment automatically coming out, but anything extra I log on. In this way, I'm able to designate it to a principal only payment, so that way it's not looked at as like an early payment. and all of that goes towards the balance of the loan instead of part of it going to interest and part of it going to the loan. So if you're paying anything extra on your debts, make sure that's going to principal only. If you're not able to do it online, then you might have to just call and do it over the phone. But that's where we're looking at, probably like I mentioned, on Monday. So the next category I have on my template is the committed monthly expenses. So again, these numbers are calculated before taxes, so your taxes and deductions are part of your monthly expenses. So I've already adjusted these based off of my husband's pay stub. So because he didn't have overtime, there was no federal taken out. Arizona State was $14.46. Medicare was $16.13. Social Security was $68.97. Our life insurance was $5.02. And our health insurance was $87.66. So I make this black because this does come out of my husband's paycheck. We will not see that money in the bank account. So if you haven't been looking at your deductions from your paycheck before and you haven't budgeted with these numbers in there before, you can start doing it now, or you can always, I mean, if you feel more comfortable budgeting with the after tax and deductions numbers, just keep in mind that it's going to lower how much is in the other areas, because 10% of the after tax is going to be less than 10% of the before tax income. So if you're doing this on paper, you're just going to be listing out all your expenses and your income, and you're going to have to use your calculator to subtract out those numbers to see what you have left at the bottom. But if you're using a template, my template auto calculates it for you, which is nice. These things on the side here, though, you can rename however you want to. So the next section of my committed monthly expenses is anything dealing with the house. So our mortgage payment is already put in savings. This is for June 1st mortgage. But out of this particular paycheck, Amanda, I want to say thank you for reminding me about the Walmart pickup. I went ahead and did Walmart pickup this week. So I did not do any stocking up. I just shopped my grocery list, my meals, and it prevented me from impulse buying, which was nice. So my budget was $94. I went over slightly, spent $96.84, but definitely way better. If I would have went to the store, there's a good chance I would have spent not just more on food, but more on, like, I would have ended up probably buying a household item or a personal care item that I didn't really need. So I'm gonna make this orange though, because that money is in the bank now out of this paycheck. Now that will be paid. Basically what I do is I log on and I make the Discover card payment, the credit card payment. So that will already have been, that's already charged. That will get paid later today. And then the electric bill I got, it was only $21.22. So I make this blue because I put that in savings as well. So on the 1st, that will come out automatically. So I will be moving that. But I put these bill money in savings when I have it a little bit early, just so I can earn a little bit of interest from my savings account. We earn a 0.6% on our savings account. Mary, we're gonna come back to your question at the end because I wanna kind of give you as much information as I can, so don't worry, we're gonna come back to you. But again, Amanda, like I said on my other video, thanks for the reminder, but she says groceries just keep going up here. It's crazy. Things I used to buy that were cheap food are no longer cheap. We planted a garden this year and hoping to get egg laying chickens. She said they used to have eggs, but Mother Nature, took them over. So thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, I can totally relate. All the frugal stuff, all the cheap stuff is no longer cheap, and eggs were crazy expensive. So if you can grow your own eggs, that's awesome. We don't really have enough room in our yard to do that, and we have our tortoises already, so I don't really want to deal with tortoises and chickens. But good luck on the chickens and the garden. We've been growing our garden a little bit, so I've already made some mulberry jelly and some pickles out of our garden this year, so I'm excited. It's kind of a hobby as well. But also Journeying Through Life touches on the eggs as well. She says, can you buy eggs from someone who has chickens? They're usually quite a bit less. If I knew anyone with chickens, I totally would look into that. I don't know anyone who has chickens right now, but I'm sure I could probably reach out on Facebook or something. But even though I'm on YouTube like 3 times a week, I don't go on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in months, so I don't know. I've kind of like become a hermit. Making Me Better says, well done getting on the same page with your hubby and getting the debts down. Keep up the good work. Thank you. And then Lisa says, great week, well done. So thank you guys so much for leaving a comment. Like I mentioned, Mary, we will be back to yours here shortly. You guys can always leave a question. You can leave a comment, word of encouragement. Like I mentioned, I asked this week's question for you guys in the comments is, when do you get paid? So you can leave those as well. This week we are going to have our Netflix payment, so I put that in savings already as well. It's $16.93. Our car insurance, this is for the car and the truck, full coverage. We have $223.43. And this is also for our teardrop as well, covers our teardrop. Our motorcycle insurance we pay yearly, which will be due in August, and that's $70 in August. Last week's gas I made black because we already spent the gas money. This week we're budgeting $90 again. And then we're going to have part of the truck payment out of this paycheck. We'll have $198.55, and then we'll have the teardrop payment of $117.18. So make these blue because I put these in savings for now. And then, like I mentioned, I'll be pulling those out when those are due. And again, I'm just trying to earn a little bit of interest. I know it's like pennies right now, but any little bit helps. The next category that we're shooting for a 10% in this category is your short-term savings or any of your yearly bills or maybe irregular spending. So what I have in here is our household items. So if we have cleaning supplies or anything like that that we need to get, or any projects, currently we're trying to finish a project. So money going towards that, yearly registration for all the vehicles, and then also like personal care items, shampoo, that type of stuff, and then giving. And if we're just trying to save up for vacation that we need a little bit more of, could come out of there as well. So nothing out of this paycheck is going into that section. The last category would be your fun category. So even if you're trying to get out of debt and you're throwing everything you can at debt, sometimes it's not realistic, and you need to enjoy some of your money. So the idea would be 10%. Again, because our monthly expenses are too high, we can't quite do 10%, but we're still enjoying some of the money. So eating out, we have $77.16. We actually already spent this on the credit card. We went to Taco Bell and the KFC, it's like one thing together, and then we ate it. We got stuff at the Walmart deli last weekend. It's crazy expensive. We should have just went to the dollar menu somewhere. So that was our bad. But I'm gonna make that orange now because that money we have in the bank. We have our foam glow race tomorrow night, Saturday night. So it's $20 cash for parking. So I have that money ready in the income account where I need to go to the ATM and pull that $20 out. But I'm excited about that. We went today, we got our registration, we got our t-shirts, we got our little number that you put on your t-shirt. So we're excited for that. It's a 5K, basically a 3-mile race, and at each section you get sprayed with some kind of a glow in the black light color, and then there's a big foam party at the end. So I think the girls are going to get a kick out of it. It is kind of late for us. It's like a later event, but it's going to be fun. And these are all orange now because this money is in the bank. Because it's Friday, we get that direct deposit. So adult drinks or alcohol drinks for the house, $39.40. Basically, this will cover this week and next week. And then we have, I spent $6. I did end up buying 3 of my Bolt House Farm green drinks when I went shopping. And that's just because I'm getting over a little bit of a cold. So I felt like I needed the extra vitamin boost. And then Ricky spent $16.05. So his NOS was actually only $10 this week instead of $11. So maybe that's going down again. That'd be nice. And then he spent a little bit of money maybe at the gas station or something like that. So $16.05. So it's a 0. So everything from this week it's been told where to go. But like I mentioned, we start with the monthly budget. So you start with the month, and then you can go paycheck by paycheck and see how are you going to allocate the money to cover the bills based on when they're due. How much are you spending on groceries? You can budget your grocery money all at the beginning of the month and do one big grocery haul if you want. I've tried that in the past. It's really kind of up to you how you do it, but this kind of gives you an idea of how we do it, so hopefully that helps you. Lastly, let's go to Mary's question here. So Mary, again, like I mentioned, I'm really sorry to hear about your mom. So her mom is sick, so she had to go from a full-time job to a part-time job. And so it's a huge pay cut for her. She's wondering how should she start a new budget. So great question. If you missed it, Mary, on Monday I put out a video on 10 things that we cut out of our budget to help us live more within our means. This was able to free up some money so we could invest, pay extra on debt, and have a little bit of fun. However, for you, it may be just to cut that stuff out, make it on part-time versus full-time. So let's take a look at the budget and see what you want to focus on. So again, you're going to start with what money do you got? What do you have? And now we got to tell it where to go. So again, try to cut out as much as you can. If you were investing, you might need to stop investing temporarily. If you were paying extra on debt, you might need to stop that for a little bit. If you were spending stuff on household items or personal care, you might want to wait and only buy what you actually need. And maybe you need to not eat out and focus on increasing your grocery budget. So next, you want to focus on your 4 walls. So when you're planning out, obviously your taxes are your taxes, your health insurance deductions or whatever you might have are that. Now if you're part-time, most likely you're not going to have health insurance. So what I am going to encourage you to do is look for help from your state. Look at food banks. Maybe try to get on, we call it access insurance, so it's basically health insurance through the state. Maybe you get on food stamps, whatever it might be, something that can help supplement you during this time of need. I'm not sure how old your mom is, but she might be able to get help as well, especially if, maybe she's not working. She might be able, if she's not, if you guys aren't already utilizing the programs that are available, utilize those programs. We've done it before. Ricky used to only make about $1,400 a month after taxes. So, we had food stamps. We had the Access Health Insurance. I went to the food bank every Thursday. You do what you got to do. But take advantage of those programs, cut your costs as much as you can, and then you're going to focus on your 4 walls. First thing is food. You need to have food in your belly, but maybe not eating out. Focus on what you can buy. Shop your cupboards and your fridge while you make your meal plan. So this way you're not buying random stuff that you don't need, but also so you can use up what you already have. You'll spend a little bit less at the store. This is only going to last a little while. You'll eventually get caught up on all your food, but it's going to help you in the meantime. And again, try not to eat out. So focus on your food first. If you need to apply for food stamps, apply for food stamps. Next is your roof over your head. So make sure you're covering your rent or your mortgage. Then you want to look at your electric, your water, sewer, trash. You want to make sure you have those things so that your house is running smoothly. You might need to cut out the internet. You might need to cut out cable. You might need to do some of these things temporarily. You might need to be really frugal with your electricity and pay attention to what you're using. We live in Arizona. It gets pretty hot here, into the hundreds, right? But believe it or not, when nobody's here and it's just me, I turn the air off. And it gets up to 83, 84, 85, but depending on the room that I'm in, I just use the fan. And then once everyone's home from school and work, I turn the air on, and we still keep it pretty warm. 80 when it's bedtime, 78. So you might have to think about just, lowering that down a little bit. We've actually helped our electric bill a little bit too, because we lowered the temperature on our hot water heater so it doesn't have to heat up as much. So little things that you can do to try to lower some of those expenses, but those are going to be you need to get that. And then the next walls, if you will, are going to be your transportation. So you need gas for the vehicles because you need to get it to work. Carpool if you can. Maybe, if you absolutely have to, use the bus or whatever if you don't have a vehicle. But if you have a vehicle, make sure you got gas for your vehicle, and make sure you're paying the insurance for that vehicle so you can drive legally and safely with those items. If you have payments associated with those vehicles, you might want to reach out to the company and just say, hey, we're going through a hard time. Is there anything we can do? But focusing on those 4 walls with your budget. Cut everything that you can. Get help from the state if you can. Focus on those. Then, if you have the extra money, you can focus on some of the other stuff, your debt payments and things like that. So again, if you have debt, if you have credit card debt, if you have other loans, focus on the stuff that's the most important. So like if you have a mortgage, and then if you have vehicle loans, and then you can pay your credit cards or your other loans. So you might be low. I don't know how much you're losing, but I hope that helps you. But you're going to do your budget just like you would with anything else. You're going to start with your income, and you're going to work your way and tell every dollar where to go. But start with the month. So start on the monthly tab or on your monthly piece of paper, whatever you're using. Budget out your month, and then go paycheck to paycheck and see how are you going to divide up the money. But again, I hope this helped you. I hope that helped you, Mary. I know it's really hard when you lose that much income. A lot of the stuff that we cut out of our budget was because I'm not working. I'm a stay-at-home mom, but a lot of times I'll do part-time jobs at the Amazon warehouse or whatever. And when I cut that income, we had to cut those expenses because we could not afford those expenses anymore. So that's the first thing you gotta do, is cut out as much as you can, and then just focus on food, shelter, transportation. You can go from there. Again, getting help from your state if you can. I hope that helped you. I hope you guys get something out of these videos. Thank you so much for budgeting with me every single Friday. Again, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. You can leave words of encouragement. You can ask me a question, or like I mentioned before, I'm curious to know, when do you guys get paid? As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.